The tribunal chamber stretched across 300 meters of obsidian floor, its vaulted ceiling disappearing into artificial twilight. Commander Vexthar stood at the prosecution platform, his four arms crossed in a gesture of absolute certainty. Before him, surrounded by a shimmering containment field, stood Sergeant Marcus Chen of the Terran Colonial Marines. "Primitive," Vexthar announced, his translator rendering the word with particular contempt. "This creature's species has barely achieved faster-than-light travel. They wage war with kinetic projectiles and chemical propellants. They are savages playing at civilization." The assembled delegates, representatives from 47 stellar nations, murmured their agreement. The Kixtel ambassador's bioluminescent patterns flickered with amusement. The crystalline shard collective emitted frequencies that translated as condescending laughter. Marcus stood perfectly still, his combat fatigues torn and scorched from the skirmish that had led to his capture. His dark eyes tracked across the assembly without fear, without shame. He had been a prisoner for 3 cycles now, subjected to interrogations, biological scans, and what the Galactic Council called cultural assessment. The assessment had been damning. Humanity, they concluded, was too dangerous to be admitted into the greater community. Too aggressive, too unpredictable, too young. "The Terrans cannot even access the quantum lattice," continued a delegate from the ephemeral chorus, beings of pure energy, who flickered at the edge of perception. "They navigate hyperspace through crude dimensional tiers. They are children stumbling through a universe they cannot comprehend." Marcus allowed himself a small smile. It was the first expression he had shown since his capture, and it sent a ripple of unease through the chamber. "Curious," came a new voice, ancient and resonant. The chamber fell silent instantly. From the shadows at the far end of the hall, something moved. The Architect Prime, eldest of the precursor remnants, drifted forward on anti-gravity fields older than most civilizations present. Its form was vaguely humanoid but constructed of what appeared to be living metal and light. It had not spoken in council for over 2,000 years. "The primitive smiles," the Architect Prime observed. "Why?" Vexthar's mandibles clicked with irritation. "Surely, Ancient One, you do not—" "I asked the human." Marcus met the Architect Prime's luminous gaze. When he spoke, his voice was calm, almost gentle. "Because I've been listening to you debate whether my people deserve to exist. And in all your words, in all your languages, not one of you has noticed something rather important." "And what?" the Architect Prime asked. "Might that be?" Marcus took a breath. Then he began to speak. But the words that emerged from his mouth were not English, nor any language in the galactic registry. The syllables rolled like thunder and chimed like distant stars colliding. The containment field around him flickered and died, its generators unable to maintain cohesion in the presence of that sound. Every being in the chamber froze. The Architect Prime's entire form blazed with sudden blinding light. Marcus continued, and the language he spoke was old precursor, the tongue of the civilization that had seeded the galaxy with technology and wisdom before vanishing into myth 10 million years ago. The language that existed in fragments in archaeological sites, in the deepest subroutines of ancient machines, the language that no living being should know. The language of gods. "I speak the words your creator spoke," Marcus said, each syllable resonating in the bones of every listener. "I carry in my genetic memory the echoes of those who walked before. Did you think humanity appeared from nothing? Did you imagine we evolved in isolation?" The Kixtel ambassador's lights had gone completely dark. The Shard Collective emitted no sound at all. 10 million years ago, Marcus continued in that terrible, beautiful language, the precursors didn't vanish. They didn't transcend. They didn't die. He paused, letting the weight of revelation settle. They seeded themselves across 1,000 worlds, encoding their knowledge, their history, their very essence into the DNA of emerging species. Insurance against the heat death of the universe, against the void wars you've all forgotten. The Architect Prime moved closer, its form pulsing with what might have been emotion. Impossible. The seeding protocol was theoretical. "Even we do not possess—" "You don't," Marcus agreed, "because you're the maintenance systems they left behind. Humanity is what happens when a precursor seed world reaches maturity. We're what they became." He switched back to English, his voice carrying new authority. "You call us primitive because we use bullets instead of plasma. Because we navigate hyperspace crudely, but we learned faster than light travel in less than 5 centuries. We went from controlled fire to quantum computing in 10,000 years. We're not behind you, we're accelerating past you. Vexthar found his voice. This is deception. Humans are known for... The Architect Prime raised a hand and Vexthar fell silent. The ancient being approached Marcus until they were face to face. Speak the third axiom, it commanded. If you truly know the language, speak the words that cannot be faked. Marcus looked into the light of the universe's last witness to the old gods. He spoke 3 words in Old Precursor, and the tribunal chamber shook. Lights flickered. Gravity fluctuated. Ancient machinery buried in the station's foundation, systems that had lain dormant for eons, suddenly activated, recognizing a voice they were programmed to obey. The Architect Prime dimmed, then blazed brighter than before. When it spoke, its voice carried awe. You are the inheritors. The prophecy was real. Marcus nodded slowly. We didn't know. Not consciously. But our oldest myths, our deepest instincts, they remember. And now that we've reached the stars, now that we've found you... He looked around the chamber at the assembled representatives of galactic civilization. Now the inheritance protocols are activating. In another century, maybe 2, every human will be able to speak this language. We'll be able to access the quantum lattice without machines. We'll remember what we were meant to become. The silence that followed was absolute. Finally, Marcus smiled again. Not the sardonic expression from before, but something warmer, more genuine. So yes, Commander Vexthar, we use kinetic weapons. We're young and aggressive and dangerous. But we're also the children of your gods, he spread his hands. The question isn't whether we're ready to join you. The question is whether you're ready for us. The Architect Prime turned to address the council, its voice carrying weight that brooked no argument. The human will be released immediately. Terra will be granted full council membership, with all rights and privileges thereof. It paused, and we will begin preparing for the return of the precursors. As the containment field dropped completely, and council delegates erupted into frantic discussion, Marcus Chen, primitive soldier inheritor of ancient gods, walked free into a galaxy that would never see humanity the same way again. ND